The oceans are rising, the ice caps are melting, and the world is getting wetter. But there's nowhere for that water to go except into the ocean. At least that's what we all thought until recently. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more amazing travel experiences. Because it turns out that the Earth's surface isn't quite as solid as we always assumed, and some parts of the planet might just sink beneath the waves entirely in our lifetimes. Here are 9 cities that might be underwater by 2030. Number 9. Bangkok. It's hard to imagine a world without Thailand's bustling capital city of Bangkok. The city has been around since the 1780s and has played an integral role in the country's history ever since. Unfortunately, the city sits on the Chao Phraya River and is prone to devastating floods, especially during the rainy season from May to October. The river also runs through fertile plains, which are home to many of the country's rice paddies. So building anything to keep Bangkok from flooding would have a negative impact on food production. To make matters worse, most of the city lies only 2 meters above sea level. If the sea continues to rise at its current rate, much of Bangkok could be underwater by 2030. Even worse, if global warming accelerates or slows down the Earth's rotation, it's causing a shift in the Earth's axis. That might change the weather patterns around the world and cause even more rainfall in Thailand. That means that the city could be underwater much sooner than expected. No. 8. Shanghai. While Shanghai is a lot further inland than Bangkok, it's still very low-lying. Much of the city is only 2 meters above sea level, putting it in danger from the rising tides. The problem is made worse by the fact that Shanghai is one of China's biggest cities, with over 24 million people living in the metro area. Many of those people work in shipping and manufacturing, which creates a lot of waste that's dumped into the Huangpu River that runs through the city. The river is already filled with so much trash that it has effectively become a wide-open sewer. If the river rises any higher, the sewage will overflow and flood the streets. Even worse, experts believe that the Yangtze River, China's longest and deepest river, might eventually empty into the East China Sea somewhere south of Shanghai. That would allow salt water to flow backwards up the Yangtze and contaminate the freshwater supply for Shanghai. Floods from the sea combined with contaminated drinking water could devastate the megacity and lead to widespread famine. So even if Shanghai isn't completely underwater, it may become uninhabitable within the next few decades. Number 7. Alexandria. Alexandria is one of Egypt's largest and oldest cities. It sits on the Mediterranean coast about 210 miles from Cairo. Much of the city is only a few feet above sea level, which makes it extremely vulnerable to rising sea levels. In 2006, the city was struck by a tropical storm that caused massive flooding, killing over a dozen people and forcing thousands to evacuate. With climate change making extreme weather events more common, it's likely that Alexandria will continue to suffer from deadly storms and flooding. Not to mention that Alexandria is built on the edge of the Sahara Desert, which receives almost no rainfall. By 2030, it's estimated that less than 1% of the population will have access to potable water, leading to mass starvation and dehydration. Like Shanghai, Alexandria is too big to effectively move inland, so the entire city may be forced to abandon the area altogether. No. 6. Dhaka. The capital city of Bangladesh is the world's largest city without a single traffic light. Overcrowded and poverty-stricken, Dhaka is already considered to be one of the worst cities in the world to live in. By 2030, it could become one of the first major cities to be underwater. The city's 15 million residents already suffer from regular flooding during the monsoon season, which lasts from April to September. The country is also suffering from a water shortage, which has led to water rationing. There aren't enough resources to go around, and if the water keeps rising, Dhaka could become completely uninhabitable within a few years. Number 5. Miami. Miami has long been known as the Magic City, a place where dreams come true and people can reinvent themselves. But if the oceans continue to rise at their current rate, the Magic City might turn into the Magic Kingdom instead. Most of Miami is only a few feet above sea level, and while the state of Florida has already begun planning evacuation routes away from the coastline, those routes will quickly become overwhelmed once the water starts to rise. And while millions of people will flee inland, many more won't be able to leave. That's especially true among the elderly, who make up about 18% of the city's population. The good news is that the US government has finally agreed to spend billions of dollars protecting the city with seawalls and other flood defenses. The bad news is that the projects will take decades to complete. Leaving Miami vulnerable for the next several years? No. For London, it's hard to imagine anything bad happening in London. After all, it's a beautiful city with a rich culture and history. But the truth is that London is one of the world's most flood-prone cities. Much of it is built along the River Thames, which flows right through the heart of the city. During the Middle Ages, London suffered from devastating floods almost every year. Between 1928 and 1929, the city suffered its worst flood in recorded history. With the River Thames reaching its highest point in more than 300 years, today London is better protected against floods, thanks to a series of dams and other flood prevention systems that were put in place after the devastating floods of the 1920s, but the infrastructure is already showing signs of strain. On average, the Thames floods twice as much each year as it did in the 1920s. And some experts believe that London could be hit by another devastating flood within the next few decades. No. 3. New York City. New York City is one of the most densely populated places in the world, with more than 8 million people crammed into an area the size of Connecticut. Most of the city is located on a coastal plain that's only a few feet above sea level. The good news is that New Yorkers already spend a lot of money on public transportation and taxis, so they shouldn't have any trouble evacuating the city if things get bad. The bad news is that even if everyone in the city manages to escape, New York City itself won't be so lucky. As the sea level rises, New York will suffer more and more from flooding, storm surges, and erosion, which will make the city uninhabitable. Even worse, New Yorkers will face competition for resources with people fleeing from other cities like Miami and Boston. Number 2. Venice. Venice is famous for being the most romantic city in the world. It's also famous for being the most flood-prone city in Europe. Most of Venice is only a few feet above sea level, and the city suffers from flooding almost every year. In 2019, Venice experienced record-breaking floods that submerged over 80% of the city. The floodwaters destroyed buildings, roads, and even works of art. Venice is built on a lagoon, which protects the city from most of the worst effects of climate change. But the rising sea levels are slowly making that protection useless. Some scientists believe that Venice could be underwater within the next 50 years, and others think that it could happen much sooner. Number 1. Rotterdam. Rotterdam is the second largest city in the Netherlands with a population of about 1.2 million people. It's also one of the busiest ports in Europe, but the city's location on the North Sea makes it extremely vulnerable to rising sea levels. Storm surge in 1953 killed over 1,800 people and flooded 2/3 of the city. The Dutch spent billions of dollars creating dikes and other flood prevention systems to protect the city, but as the sea level rises, those protections may not be enough. In the worst-case scenario, Rotterdam could be completely underwater by 2030. Thanks for watching. What do you think? How will climate change affect your city or town? Let us know in the comments below. Be sure to subscribe for more amazing videos. See you next time.